today's lesson, we're introducing some of the fundamental training. We're starting with the heel. The yellows are usually real sensitive on this, so what I do is, what we did today, I'll hook the leash, 6-foot leash, to the electric collar first, and I'll free motor on the way out. Now, she had quite a bit of drifting. However, what was weird was, coming back home, I got clear up to 80 going out, but 60 was more than enough on the way back in if she drifted. But when you're in that free mode, technically she's allowed to go anywhere around you within 15, 20 feet. But with the cars here, just tap your leg and say, "Atta girl, hurry," and she'll get closer to you. And if the cars come behind me, I'll just cut in the grass, say her name, she'll come over and so give her a sit, and she'll sit next to you and step on the leash if you're concerned about it. And then say her name and start over again. But the first half of the walk is definitely in the free mode with the young yellow labs. And free is not totally free. I mean, you're still changing directions, planting your feet, throwing some random comes at her, and say no if she's out too far. And then use your electric to enforce it quite a bit if she has a slow or no response to those commands. The second half of the walk, I'd like you to unclip the leash and hook it to her pinch collar, and just move the pinch collar over so it's facing her right shoulder where your leash is attached. At that point, the definition of heel for her would be to walk with her eyes at the heel of your left foot, step for step and turn for turn. Now what I would do is, if she falls behind you, tap your left leg to encourage her up. Atta girl, there you go, hurry. If she doesn't come, go ahead and tap your continuous button and just say no heel as you're walking, and she'll speed right up. There's two keys to challenging her mentally on these heel walks. The first one I would like to do is if you could change the pace the whole walk, where you speed up and slow down. Now when you come from the fast pace to the slow pace, count in your mind 1001 or 1 second, and that's the time frame she has to make the adjustment back to your slower pace. If she does not adjust within that time frame, do a conventional heel correction, which would be bringing your left hand forward about 6 to 8 inches and then snapping or ripping back and saying no heel as you're walking in a calm voice. Trick is to keep moving and then not to look down in her eyes when you pull it, and that you'll keep the fear and anger out of the approach. Now the second thing to challenge her mentally on these heel walks, if you could give me at least 2 tight left circles, tight, medium, and wide, but the key ingredient is slow. When you do the left circles, turn in, turn slow, and she should pivot off your left leg and not bump you or touch you. If she bumps you, you know she's cheating in the heel, so snap back and say no heel. If she has like a 1960s sit-out where she just quits and sits or lays down, tap your leg and encourage her. If she doesn't, give me a double nick or triple and say no heel, or one continuous and say no heel, and she'll speed right up and catch up to where she's supposed to be. Say you're going down the street side by side, and them Mexican guys to our left today, like she would drift toward them to pull and see what they're doing, or good smells in the grass. At that point, snap across your waist with your left hand and say no heel as you're walking forward. If the stimulation is too strong and has her distracted and she just looks that way and she's taking your snap, hit your continuous, say no heel, and she'll move it right on over. If you could give me 5 to 8 days prep on the sitting, do 3 to 5 sits each time you practice. Bring your right hand under your left hand, raise it, push your rear down with your left hand, and say sit. I'd like you to get it the first 5 days into it that method, then go to a conventional sit correction. When you stop, just lift the leash under your armpit and say sit for the rest of the days to get to about a total of 8 or 9. Day 10, there's no more help on the sitting. When you stop, if she doesn't sit, snap up on your armpit and say no sit. Okay, but at least she has 8 days of prep, and that'll help her quite a bit. She's doping out now, and that's good. The behavior issues in the house, I sit on her pretty hard the next few months. She's going into teenagehood, and it's kind of undue harassment on the older dog. I don't think I'd let her rough him up too much. I'd intervene with the remote and say no. She'll find her bone or toy or play with the other dog. She doesn't have to beat him up like that because he's just arthritic. It's not worth getting him all. He'll hear him growl and snap, and he shouldn't have to protect himself that much. So begin half free and then half strict healing. The 2 key ingredients on the healing, changing the pace obviously, and then the slow left circles are very key. Make sure those are getting done. 15-minute walk, 20 at the most. 3 to 4 days out of a 7-day week would be very adequate if you can get that. But behavior, sit on her in the house. Don't let her, hovering for food, bringing clothing out, that kind of just boom. After the fact stuff, digging holes in the yard, eating feces, same thing. I think we're in pretty good shape. My cell phone, if you need me, is 595-2406.